This kind of tells it all that we don't have a whole lot left. Basically, it's short of total destruction.
There is the late Eddie Favre, who back in 2005 was talking with our own Russell Biven, as you see there. He was at the time the mayor of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. 20 years ago this week, that community that sits on the water was almost destroyed by Hurricane Katrina. And today, 10 News anchors Robin Wilhoit and John Becker are back in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. They're joining us just a few feet away from where Russell was 20 years ago. Hey, guys.
Hey, Brittany. Yes, it's almost surreal to be back after 20 years. But of course, we've made multiple visits over the years. But to look at this town now, you could hardly believe that a natural disaster struck it. But yes, let's roll back the calendar to August 29th, 2005. And that is when Katrina barreled ashore on this Mississippi coastal town as a Category 3 storm with sustained winds of 120 miles an hour and a storm surge of 20 to 30 feet. In the end, homes were destroyed, businesses were destroyed, and 57 people in this county, Hancock County, were killed.
A lot of you may be asking why Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. It's 600 miles from East Tennessee, some 60 miles to the east of New Orleans. Here's a sample of why we're here. In the days after Hurricane Katrina, WBIR followed a semi-truck full of supplies headed 600 miles south to help people who lost everything in the historic storm.
For Bill Bass, one of the drivers of the Food City 18-wheelers from Knoxville, this trip was his donation, and he did it in true Tennessee style, as a volunteer.
10 News anchor Russell Biven and behind the camera, photographer Jerry Owens worked to fulfill two main goals on the trip: follow the aid truck and find a community East Tennessee could adopt. Bay St. Louis, population 11,000, turned out to be the coastal town off the national radar 60 miles east of New Orleans, where two fact finders from Channel 10 decided this town needed help.
And we're just going, and there's a big plywood sign on the road. Somebody had painted relief supplies this way.
If it wasn't people like y'all from Tennessee, Missouri, wherever, we wouldn't have what we have.
Jonathan and Beverly Davis turned their general store into a relief site.
No house, but we have a home. We may not have anything else, but we have each other.
It helped. The Mississippi town had a charismatic mayor who became a household name in East Tennessee, Eddie Favre.
You know, this kind of tells it all that we don't have a whole lot left. Basically, it's short of total destruction.
The donations, the attention, the friendships would span years, even decades, because people in East Tennessee didn't hesitate to act.
We become part of the community. I don't view myself anymore as an outsider.
Hurricane Katrina, the storm triggers memories of rooftop rescues in New Orleans for much of America. But if you lived in East Tennessee in 2005, Bay St. Louis may be top of mind, a coastal town in Mississippi rebuilt in part by the volunteer spirit, heart, sweat, and soul. Back live here in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. What a transformation in 20 years. This is just a sample of what the waterfront looks like now. Bars are thriving, so are restaurants. And behind us, Robin, you can see the Bay Bridge is built back. That's another key link in this community.
It was wiped out. Now, what you see behind me is the marina. This was not here pre-Katrina, but after Katrina, and of course the tremendous loss this community suffered, this city knew they needed to bring people back. What did they do? They built a marina with 200 slips, and people are coming back in droves.
This is a small town of 10,000, Brittany, that lost about half its population after Katrina. And coming up, Robin is going to connect with one of the people who escaped Louisiana and moved to East Tennessee after the storm. We'll have that for you tonight at 5 o'clock. For now, that's a look at Bay St. Louis 20 years after Katrina.
Thank you so much, John and Robin. So great to see that recovery. I know we're going to be looking forward to more coverage throughout the week. Thanks so much.